When you have large groups of people coming together, you have a very important process underway that is called the dumbassification of the group. As the group gets larger, it collectively also becomes a lot dumber. As perfectly demonstrated by the latest events that unfolded in the urban area of Los Angeles, where a sports ball team won, and in celebration this happened. Oh yeah, take a photo, man. Oh yeah. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Lukadeski of wearechange.org. And man, oh man, we cannot get a break in 2020, especially when it comes to the utter lunacy and insanity unfolding right now in America, a country where citizens are at odds and combative against each other more than ever because of political party establishment bullcrap, and of course a place where the police selectively choose which protests they promote and which ones they shut down and arrest the organizers of. All, of course, because of this insane idea of party politics. Because we do call it out, there are major efforts undermining this voice and many others like it. This is why this YouTube channel is now 100% demonetized, heavily shadow banned, and of course censored. And that's why we rely on your support to continue this operation. If it wasn't for you supporting us through cryptocurrencies, Venmo, the Cash App, physical mail, or PayPal, or whatever it may be, we even have a way where you could easily support us without spending a single dime. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. Thank you sincerely for all you incredible individuals who sustain us, even with small donations, which mean the world to us. Also, yesterday, we just did our 27-hour survival self-defense training apocalypse course, and I have to say, it went off better than I thought. We even gave out patches to individuals who participated. Some of them got even teary-eyed, called it life-changing, what we went through. And I have to say, I'm really enjoying doing these kinds of trainings. I might hit the road soon and offer these trainings in your area. Of course, I'm looking for individuals that are in this particular type of field who maybe have a range that we could shoot on and come to some kind of agreement. If you have something like this, please message me on Twitter, twitter.com/LukeWeAreChange. Now, as far as the actual news of what's happening, I'm kind of left scratching my head here. Where do I even get started? There's a lot of lunacy, there's a lot of craziness, but I think one of the biggest impactful statements that just recently came out from the World Health Organization that has been absolutely untrustworthy, has been flip-flopping on major issues, and has been inconsistent on virtually every aspect of the sickness that is allegedly going around. And I wanted to bring this up in context to, of course, their latest statement where they're actually surprisingly coming out and condemning lockdowns. Yes, the World Health Organization is flip-flopping once again, and they're saying lockdowns used to control the conholio sickness around the world should stop using them as the, quote, primary control method of the conholio sickness. This is specifically comments from Dr. David Nabarro, who correctly, in my opinion, said that these lockdowns achieve poverty with no mention of any potential lives saved. And when you look at a lot of the data surrounding this, especially in the backdrop of countries like Sweden and other countries who didn't lock down, this is a very compelling case that is worth investigating. Just perplexing that it came from the organization that heavily recommended lockdowns before. Dr. Nabarro also said, quote, lockdowns have just one consequence that you must never, ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer. And that is an absolutely true comment. If you look at one of the major consequences from this entire sickness, it is the larger transfer of wealth. It is the larger wealth distribution that has happened under it, with individuals like Bill Gates profiting off of it in record high numbers. Even Newsweek, a mainstream media outlet, recently came out and highlighted how Bill Gates' investment, specifically in vaccine companies, have gained him tens of millions of dollars. And again, we also have to understand that this is from an individual who a couple of years ago publicly said that he was donating all of his money to charity, but since has almost quadrupled his wealth. Could the fact that he's making money hand over fist with vaccines could be one of the reasons why he is promoting vaccines? And if we look at what's been happening during this entire sickness, billionaires' wealth has reached a total of $10.2 trillion, massively increasing from an illness where even Christie, this creature right here that doesn't even need a mask because he could use his pants as a mask, literally with obesity and asthma beat. Yes, this creature, Christie, beat the conholio sickness and was just released from the hospital. And hold on, we're locking people down, shutting down weddings, shutting down funerals, shutting down public gatherings for this? We're destroying and eviscerating people's livelihoods, shutting down their businesses, not allowing them to operate, having police officers and government bootlicking agents roam the streets, giving out infractions and shutting them down for this? Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, come on. The pain and suffering that has been caused by this is irreversible, insurmountable for many individuals, and it's also being used as an excuse to shut down any opposing voices against government, like we are seeing exemplified in New York City, where an organizer of the Orthodox Hasidic Jewish community who's been protesting was just arrested outside of his home by the NYPD, the same police agency that during massive Black Lives Matter rioting and looting were literally on the same street not doing anything. You organize a bunch of people to protest the government. The politicians who are getting critiqued here, they're going to send in their thugs to come intimidate, harass, and lock you up, put you in a jail cell with other individuals where you're not social distancing, all because you created an event that they're not social distancing. Do you see the hypocrisy here? Do you see the utter lunacy unfolding here? It is inexcusable as much as it is hypocritical. Now again, obviously a lot of people in the Orthodox Jewish community in Brooklyn are outraged by this, and you should be too, especially with video footage coming out showing that police officers were the ones that, in some instances, were the ones kind of trying to incite violence here. And now a protest organizer is being charged with inciting a riot. And it is important to note the details here, because this organizer is also being charged with, quote, an assault of a journalist. There's one vague video of a man being escorted out by the NYPD. This man claims that he was assaulted. Again, I have not seen any clear evidence of this at all. But even if this was the case, this is nothing compared to what Antifa and BLM have been doing all throughout this country this entire summer, where even many news organizations are too afraid to even report or even videotape assaults of many other journalists who are just clearly there reporting on the scene of other protests that are allowed, that government officials and the mainstream media do cheer on. Now, any assaults on journalists are absolutely immoral, wrong, and shouldn't be tolerated and should be called out. And if someone did hurt this man, they should face the repercussions for doing so. Absolutely. It is also important to note that there are other people conflicting reports of this alleged assault, but that's not an important point to understand here. What really is important to highlight here is how the country's biggest police department is enforcing the rules to the T, stringently, against one protest group while allowing another one to do whatever they want, taking orders from politicians that mistreat them, but still the NYPD, the police officers in that uniform, are deciding to follow the orders and are literally doing what they're told, which is an absolutely cowardly act. It's pathetic, and this should be a very important lesson for everyone to understand here, since it is because of these yellow-bellied kind of actions why we have such a severed society as it is right now. A society that is tearing itself apart and is becoming more violent against each other because of party politics. This, of course, was exemplified during a weekend where a Trump supporter was killed in cold blood at yet another political rally. Now, the details of what happened are still coming forward, but it looks like a man who was working for an NBC affiliate was hired as a security guard to work for this, quote, news organization, and then he was involved in an altercation with a Trump supporter where he ended up shooting them and killing them. Now, there's a lot of different details about this particular event that people on the left are highlighting or ignoring, and of course, other elements that people on the right are ignoring or highlighting. There's some people saying that it was this, quote, security guard that came forward. Other people are saying it was this Trump supporter. We just have some of these photos to go off of. You see the two men create space between each other. The Trump supporter looks like he has bear mace, while this alleged, quote, security guard of this news organization is already firing off a shot where you could see a casing already flying out of his handgun. According to some reports, the shooter was the one that approached the Trump supporter. There's other details coming forward that this man was not a licensed security guard, which has a lot of people asking, why would you hire someone who also previously from his social media posts had very leftist ideas, and then why would you arm him and bring him to a Trump rally? And I think that's a very important question to ask here so we could understand what happened. It also looks like the News 9 team was filming and recording the incident, and we have still yet to see any of the video footage that came forward, but it would be important to understand what actually led up to this event, who walked up to who, why was this man hired, and again, this is just outright senseless nonsense that, as we've been telling you, will only escalate and get worse from here, as we've been telling you for months on end now. Another life is lost. A man who was a Navy veteran, a father. His son was with him when he got shot and killed. And we have a life lost over what? Absolute nonsense that many special interests and elites are pushing for their own personal benefit, just like they did with the conholial sickness. Again, this is a bad day for everyone. Expect more bad days ahead. So yeah, that's my particular take on it. What do you think? If you thought I was wrong on anything or any issue, please let me know why in the comment section below. I always appreciate the constructive criticism and also the trolls. I appreciate that too. Part also because without you, I wouldn't be here. And I'm only here because of you sharing and getting these videos out there, helping push past all the nonsense, algorithm changes, shadow banning, demonetization, bullcrap that's happening behind the scenes. The person that could stop that is you. And because you do, I'm still here. And I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.